For those of you that know me, I'm Jayne Leach. For those of you that don't know me, I'm still Jayne Leach. Diamond manager with Forever, been with Forever 26 years now, and I am as excited today about the opportunity as I was when I first joined 26 years ago. And I think there's a reason why, and that's because I kind of know what this business can deliver. But I do think that when we start looking around for options, because we're all here, every single one of us, because we were looking for something, whether it be a bit of part-time money to maybe help with the household bills, maybe to pay off a bit of debt, maybe a little bit of money to have a nicer holiday. It could be that you wanted something to maybe begin to match a full-time income so you could leave a job that you're not particularly happy in. Or it could be like me, you were up for a complete change of direction and you were looking for something that could be that vehicle. So every one of us are here for a reason, and every one of us had to make choices. And it's the choices that we've made over the years and will make as a result of today, as a result of tomorrow, as a result of in December, and as a result of going into a new decade that will define our future. And when I first decided in my life that I needed to do something different, I was farming, I was on the back of a horse more often than not, I was running a big estate, but I was bought and paid for by a boss. Anybody else bought and paid for by a boss? That boss determined my quality of life, that boss determined my free time, that boss determined my security, everything was determined by a boss. And I woke up one morning, having worked for 18 years in my career, and I just had one of those moments, one of those sort of epiphanies where I thought, there's got to be more to life. Anybody have one of those moments? There's just got to be more to life. But what do? I'm just a farmer. And I think for a lot of people, when they have that moment where they say there must be more to life, their immediate sort of default button is, but what can I do? I'm just a housewife, just a doctor, just a lawyer, just an IT consultant, just a factory worker, just a whatever. None of us are just whatever we're at this point in our life. You know, we have skills and we have talents, and we also have dreams and ambitions and goals that we want to achieve, but we do need to find the vehicle to allow us to achieve the goals. So when I was at that point looking at what to do, I looked at all sorts of things. And I want to give you an idea as to why I chose Forever. And I think this is really important as you begin your prospecting going into the new year. You need to be able to show people options. You need to be able to let people see why sometimes the decisions they're thinking of making could be challenging ones. You know, I looked at starting my own traditional business, and I had a great idea for a traditional business. But once I began to look at the investment needed, I was really scared for two reasons. A, I didn't have the money. And B, if I borrowed it, who the heck was going to help me and mentor me and coach me to be successful? Well, nobody else would in traditional business because I become a competitor. And if you look at the stats here, you know, traditional businesses now, you know, setting them up, it's not cheap. You need 5, 10, 15, 20,000 with no guarantee of success. But the kicker on this slide is people in traditional businesses, when they're billing for money, billing for their time, invoicing for the job done, over 80% of people are owed money by clients. Is there anybody in the room that can relate to that, having had a traditional business? That's hard, isn't it? You've given the best of you, but somebody else hasn't paid you, and that's hard. You could look at franchising. I looked at franchising. I thought, you know what I'll do? I'll go and get a franchise. And then when I began to research the franchise industry, for me personally, I found it soulless. You're just another number. Yes, you can invest anywhere from 5,000 to 300,000 for a McDonald's or a KFC or one of the big branded franchises. And with that, you get a franchise license, you get a system, you get a restricted territory, but you get no legacy. It's not yours for life. And you have to pay a proportion of your profit back to the franchisee as a result of taking on their license. And when I began to realize that, I thought, that's just madness. So I put 20 years of my life into this, and I've got no legacy. Nothing to pass on to my family. So for me, when I looked at the option of franchising, it wasn't a valid option for me. And I know people, I've got friends that have done franchising, and I tell you what, it is soulless and it's hard work and so many restrictions. I personally looked at going back to uni to retrain as a vet. You know, my background was horses and farming, and I thought that's something that really interests me. But it's a 7-year course, and I had 2 little boys and I was a single mum. And how could I fund that 7 years with no income? And then what guarantee would there be of me being able to get into a practice to make money? 7 years is a long time in our lifetime. So having looked at all the options, I decided that maybe that was it. There was nothing for me to do other than carrying on doing the same old, same old. And then Forever came into my life. And as I began to look at the key points of Forever, I began to realise that this was a perfect business. To get started, just £199 with a money-back guarantee, so no risk. Full training and support and a proven system that wasn't on trial. And one can't put, that is priceless, to know that you've got somebody by you the whole time, empowering you, helping you, coaching you and nurturing you to achieve your potential. No staff, no stock, no premises, and a proven 41-year track record. I was talking to a girl the other day, a prospect on the phone, and she was a bit derogatory about network marketing. And she went on about her business that she had supplying products to wholesale into the hairdressing industry. And she was rabbiting on about how she had to go to China and how she had to go over to the Far East. She was rabbiting on about how much money she had to spend to bring the products on into the UK. She was rabbiting on about the challenge of investing so much up front and hopefully getting it all back at the time she'd taken product to market. And I just threw in a one-liner. I said, well, I don't know about that. I said, but I did 80 million turnover last year with no staff, no stock, no overheads, no premises. Guess my business kind of works. But you need to think about this, because we don't have the headaches that people are facing out there who are not involved in Forever and our industry. And then you consider the fact that you're paid on the retail turnover of your team. Now, a lot of the new people in the room don't even know that, but you work at wholesale, but you're paid on the retail turnover. One of the most generous marketing models in the world. In fact, I don't know another company that does that. My first bonus check, when I got it from Rex, John worked it all out. He's good with figures. He said, they've overpaid you. I said, how can that be? He said, because you've earned X, Y, Z. And we rang up the MD and he said, no, Jayne, that's the retail value. I went, oh, how generous is that? And once you understand all these little nuances of the business, you begin to realise how fortunate you are to be sat here right now at the start of your journey, or redeveloping your business, etc., etc. Forever have never missed a bonus payout in 41 years. And for those of you that have had your own business or got one where you're fighting to get money in, you have no worry with that in Forever. The only time they ever won't pay you is if you move house, change bank account and don't tell them. And even then, they will collate your bonus for you until you ring them up and they go, here you go. So a company that has your best interests at heart. And this is what really grabbed me. We live on an island, the UK. We have an island mentality sometimes. In order to achieve anything outside of our boundaries, we have to get on a plane, on a boat, we have to drive. And so therefore we do have this sort of insular mentality at times. And that's very evident in politics right now. So I said I would never say that. But I tell you something, I need to go and sort them all out. But yeah, exactly. Yes, thank you for that. They all just need sorting out. Heads banging and sorting out. But, the ability to build multiple income streams, the ability to build a business here in the UK, Spain, Italy, the USA, Hong Kong, South Africa. You have that at your fingertips. And I'm very fortunate that over the years I have focused on building multiple income streams and have 40 paychecks a month. Now, some of those are quite tiny, maybe $20, $30, $100. And some of them are literally thousands and thousands. And all because I embraced the opportunity. I made a commitment when I joined Forever that it was forever. I made a commitment that I wasn't in this to give it a go, to try, to see if it would work. I joined to be successful. I didn't know what that would look like on day one, but I joined to be successful. And being able to build multiple income streams around the world has not only secured my life, but has secured the lives of hundreds of thousands of people that I've worked with in sharing this very simple process I'm going to share with you in order to secure their futures. So how many of you know people in other countries? Of course we do. And the beauty now about the opportunity is we're in 160 countries around the world. Wherever we have a presence, you can build an income stream. But I think one of the things that really struck me when I first started, and I hope that you, all of you, begin to see the power in this, and that's the legacy business. The ability to build something today that will outlive you and be relevant to generations to come. Your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. And if we do the right things now, if we build a business on firm foundations, if we shut out the noise and stop listening to anybody who tells you you're mad, you're crazy, get a proper job, or do this or do that, do the other, shut that noise out and get single-mindedly focused on this opportunity, then you're going to change a lot of lives. So what I want to do today is I want to demystify what we do. And we live in a fast, crazy, manic world right now, don't we? We're bombarded with information every single minute of every single day. It's on the news, it's in the papers, it's with our friends, it's on social media. And just watching that slide, it makes you all feel a bit mad, but that's life. We live in a crazy world. And one of the things I've noticed in our business, and especially in Forever, that everybody wants to go and seek the truth. Everybody wants to find out what that magic ingredient is, right? And so everybody's searching. And you find one person, you listen to them and you say, that's a great idea, I'll do that. And then you go off and you find another person online and you go, that's a great idea, I'll do that. And you do that consistently for days and weeks and months until you are so confused you don't know what to do. Hands up if you agree with me. Okay. I'm the same. If I'm not careful, I can get completely bogged down with stuff. So for me, what I've done over the years is I've tried to work on clarity and simplicity. Clarity and simplicity. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple. Success then comes. Okay? Because our business is about doing small actions on a daily, weekly, monthly basis and teaching others to do the same. And most people, in my humble experience, and I've kind of built an okay business, it's not bad. In my humble experience, they overcomplicate things. And when they're having a tough time, rather than reinvent themselves, they reinvent the wheel. And the wheel wasn't broken in the first place. Anybody agree with that? So this is about understanding the simplicity of your own expectation and your own activity and then duplicating it. So I want to share with you the process that I've worked for many, many years. It's evolved to be relevant today because we live in a slightly different world today, and it will always keep pace with the needs of the economy and the people that we're working with. So when we join Forever, we invest. We invest $199.75. And I know nowhere on this planet where you can invest in a business so reasonably that gives you potentially so much. And when you buy that box is for you to evaluate the product, to begin to share the product with other people. It's your shop window. But more importantly, it's your future, it's your hopes, your goals, your dreams, your security, your freedom. Everything comes within that box. But it's what you do once you've got the box and you're ready to go to work that will determine the stability and the structure of your business. So let me share with you how best to work, first of all, yourself. Because if you ain't right, ain't nobody right. If you're not doing it, how can you expect your team to do it? People copy what you do. They follow you. And so therefore you need to make sure that you've got the basics and the fundamentals right. So I want everyone in the room to look at this as if it's your own first month in the business. And I like this because it means that managers can re-qualify as managers and assistant supervisors can qualify as managers. And very often I have a complete muck out in my own business and identify those that want to and those that don't. I stop wasting my time with those that don't want it, and you focus on those that do, and that's when the magic happens. So this is what we teach. The first 90 days are vital to your success. When someone joins Forever, they're excited. They're full of hope. They have a great vision. They believe this is their vehicle to achieve everything that's important to them. So we need to make sure that we have a simple plan in place for the first 30 days, month 1. Now you can always do more, but we don't want you doing less. This is the expectation. No different to a job, a career, another business. You can do more, but not less. So month 1, what we're looking to do is to coach our new team and ourselves to use and retail 3 CCs as a minimum. Now I want you to write this down. 5 P's. P for Peter. 5 P's. Perfect planning promotes plenty of profit. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And I've never seen anybody achieve greatness without detailed plans, 7 days, a month, a quarter, a half year, 3/4 of a year, and a year. You have to be constantly planning and diarising. Because if you don't, you'll think it to death, and by the end of the month you've done nothing. And you're exhausted with all the thought process, but you've achieved nothing. Anybody done that? Okay, I want you to write down this. This is going to change your world. Ready? Stop it. Okay? Stop it. This is about being proactive. So how do we do these 3 minimum? You can do a lot more. And this is really important that this goes in the diary. So we're looking for that 2 to 4 launches booked into the diary. And then planned. We don't just book a launch, we plan it. In other words, 6 friends round to your house, round a kitchen table. It could be done via Facebook, it could be done by a WhatsApp group. There are many, many ways to do launches, but we need to launch the product. We need to launch us. We need to launch our new FBO. It's no different to you investing 50,000 into a fancy restaurant where you've got all the tables and chairs in, you've got beautiful covers, you've got a great menu, you've got your chef cooking an amazing, amazing meal, and guess what? You don't tell anybody about it. What would happen? You go out of business very quickly. And our business is exactly the same. We need to launch the business. And so for me, what I love doing as a coach working with a new FBO is planning their launches, because I, as a sponsor, can be very, very proactive in their first month. Because when I've got 6 or 8 people captive in a room, around a kitchen table, in the lounge, I know that in 45 minutes I can share with a passion the product, I can share stories, I can answer questions. My new FBO is being coached, and at the end of the evening I can mingle with every single guest and engage with them and tell them that they need to come and look at the Forever opportunity. So a launch is very effective for coaching, for retailing, profitability, and for recruiting, which means exposing the opportunity. So I want 2 to 4 of these booked in the first month. And I don't mind whether it's online or face-to-face. And I do believe that we need to be working locally, because when we're working locally, we have the most impact on our team because we can get to them. And we're human beings, and people like to be together. You know, we've all got smartphones, But sometimes our smartphones leave us in isolation. And we need to be with people. And I've proven this time and time again. I also like a new FBO to have 2 experience packs. 2 collections of product that they will get in and out twice a week to people who can't come to launches, who don't want to come to a launch, and maybe prefer that more personalised experience. So that goes in the diary. We plan it meticulously. I also want to show my new FBO and myself how to do one-on-one. One-on-one, have a coffee with a friend, have a coffee with a colleague, take a selection of products, share them with a passion, let them rub them on, let them taste them, let them feel them. I share my story, and my energy and my passion is enough with the stories that they want to engage and buy the product. That's factored into my plan for the first month. Also, I teach people how to do small product pop-ups. This can be anything from a school fair to maybe an event, to maybe a small exhibition. It could be anywhere that you can put a small stand up where you can have an overview of the product. And as a review of an overview of the product and your questionnaires, you engage with people. I did a fair recently with my daughter-in-law, and we did a great sales over 2 days, and the profitability was great. But for me it was great sales, great profitability, but how many questionnaires did we get filled out? Because that's your follow-up business, that's your experience packs. So all of this is planned in the diary, okay? Planned in the diary. This is your business. Don't leave it to chance. And also, as we plan stuff, we can review. So we plan, we do, we review. So as a coach, you can review the launch, review the experience packs, and offer advice to be better next time. And the more you do, the better you get. And the better you get, the more money you'll make. And the more money you make, the more confident you become. And the more confident you become, the more attractive you are to your prospects, because prospects want to follow confident, passionate people. So none of this is left to chance. It is planned. Simple. How many of you can do that? Shut the noise off. Turn off anything that's distracting and focus. Try it, you'll be surprised. And the other thing we do in month 1 is we look to recruit a minimum of 1 assistant supervisor. You can do more, but you're not going to do less. Okay? And how do we do that? Well, this is where we spend time on developing a who do you know list. This is where we spend time on teaching our new FBO how to create their story. Stories sell, facts merely tell. And your story is exciting to other people because your story is the hook for them to come and join you in what you're doing. And it's a real skill to craft your story, but it needs to be done. And then we agree how many people you will reach out to on a daily basis. And to begin with a new FBO, I like them to do between 2 to 5 contacts per day from their list. And sometimes I have people say to me, Jayne, but I can do 10 a day. And I say, I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can do 10 a day this week, 10 a day next week, 10 a day the week after. But will you be doing 10 a day in 2 or 3 or 4 months' time? And the reality is very few people are consistent at that higher level. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking in the first 90 days for you to embrace and begin to understand the skill sets. You can scale up once you've got it. But I don't want to set you up for disappointment. Does that make sense? I want to set you up for excitement and results. TTP and contact marketing. We agree an amount of activity that you will do each week in contact marketing and talking to people when you're out and about. And this is fun. This is so much fun. And if I talk to nearly all of my top leaders, not just here in the UK, but around the world, all of them are well versed in being able to communicate with anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place. And I could do a whole masterclass for a half a day on just this one topic, and it's so effective. So I teach people how to do that and how to weave it in to their daily activity. That could be around their existing commitments, jobs, families, whatever. Then what I do is I teach people a very, 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 very simple social media plan. And I think Lisa will go into that a little bit later. But I'm not all over social media. Buy my product, join my business, join my business. What I do is I present me on social media in a way that people are intrigued and want to know what's going on. So we create a very simple social media structure in the first month. Very easy and very doable. And of course, we ask for referrals. When I'm sitting with a new FBO and we open up their list and we make some communication together, if somebody says, no, it's not for me, I teach them how to say thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate your honesty. I know I've called you out of the blue and I know this is not for everybody and clearly the timing isn't right for you now. However, I'm looking for just a few people who want to change their lives. People like you. Good communicators, good with people, ambitious. Do you know anybody? So you never ever end the conversation on a no, it's not for me. You go for the referral. And all of this is planned. It's planned. It's day-to-day activity. It's in the nooks and the crannies. It's around your existing commitments. But you need to be focused. You buy into it, obsessive about it. Because you've got to put your business into momentum. Now, how many of you think that is simple? How many of you think, yep, that's a simple plan, I could do that? Okay, not many of you, so I've obviously done something wrong. Should we ask the question again? How many of you look at that and go, well, that's pretty simple, actually? Okay, that's it. If you catch the vision of that, that's all you need to learn. Obviously, you need to learn the skills around the activity, but that's the basis of your business. That is all I've been doing for 26 years. And I kind of got quite a good business, really. I don't overcomplicate. I don't reinvent the wheel. I stay current. But I stay believable in what I do. I don't want people looking at me and go, I could never do what Jayne does. Because once someone does that, then they don't believe in their own journey. So that's why I do launches as a diamond manager. That's why I do one-to-ones with the product as a diamond manager. That's why I'm doing C9s and my own experience packs as a diamond manager. Because I don't expect anybody to do what I don't do. And if you've got that mental state yourself, then people will follow you doing the right thing. I don't expect anybody to do anything in recruiting that I don't do. Some of you are far more advanced in social media than I am. That's great, but you need to be broad spectrum. Because if you recruit someone that has no interest in social media, you need to be able to show them how you can work a list, go contact marketing, ask for a referral, engage and be authentic. But all I do every day is share the product, share the opportunity, recruit people and teach them to do the same based on that. That's it, folks. That's how simple it is. If it takes you a month to learn it, great. If it takes you 2 months to learn it, that's okay. If it takes you 3 months to learn it, it's no problem. Because once you've learned it, you can't unlearn it. And then once you've got it and it sits well with you, that's when the magic begins to happen. So let's have a look at how it scales. So in month 2, you are going to do exactly the same that you did in month 1. I call it rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. You're going to use and retail 3 case credits. You can always do more, but never less. You're going to recruit at least 1 assistant supervisor. You can do more, but never less. And actually, as you begin to rinse and repeat every month, you'll find yourself getting better and better and better and better, where you're doing your own requirements without even thinking about it. Your pipeline is full, you've got repeat customers, you've got people talking to you, you've got people coming to BPs, doing one-to-ones, watching videos, having phone calls with you. It's dead easy. And all you're going to do then is work with Sue to help her do exactly what you do. And you're going to plan her month in exactly the same way that you planned yours. You're not going to say, here's your box, get on with it. You're going to say, let's do this together. Because she's going to lead you to people that potentially could be better than her. How many of you heard of Chris Goldsborough? Chris Goldsborough came from a product launch. And I nearly didn't go to that product launch because I didn't want to make the effort to drive to Nottingham for Milton Keynes. I was tired, the kids wanted me at home, and in the end I did go, half-heartedly, to work with an FBO that I didn't have a lot of confidence in. But at that launch that night, with only 4 people turning up to the launch, I met Chris Goldsborough. She joined as a result of my productivity, my action, my working with the new FBO. She joined with that FBO. That FBO is no longer in the business, but who is in the business? Chris Goldsborough. So this is why I'm saying rinse and repeat, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, because the more you do, the more you learn, the better you become, the quicker you duplicate. And I hear people so often saying, Jayne, I can't get my people to duplicate. Well, they should be duplicating what you're doing. But if you're not doing it, of course you won't duplicate. Because all you're doing is teaching them theory, not the practical. So at the end of your second month, you and your team will have done 10 case credits. You've now got a base month for supervisor, and you've got 8 weeks of experience under your belt. And guess what we're going to do in month 3? You are going to rinse and repeat. You're going to do exactly the same thing you did in month 1 and month 2. You can always do more, but never less. And guess what happens? Sue, who you recruited in month 2, month 1 is now going to do her 10 case credits by doing exactly what you've done, working with people to teach the 3x2. And the person you sponsored last month, Bill, is doing 5, you're doing 5, you've got 20 as a team, 20 and 10 is 30, you are now a supervisor. But for me, the most important thing is you're a supervisor with a structure. It's that simple. And all you've done is have a structure in place for retail activity, a structure in place for recruiting activity, and both overlap, and you've been proactive. In other words, you've exited your home. The amount of people I see in Forever who just sit behind their phones and their computers all day waiting for something magical to happen. You need to get out and mix with people and let people know who you are and what you're doing. Because I promise you, if you buy that box and take it home and put it under the stairs, no one's going to knock on your door and say, can you show me how to be a diamond manager? But if you're out there and you're proactive and you're smiley and you're happy and you're passionate and you're sharing the basics and people get it, then you are going to scale your business beyond your wildest dreams. So let's have a look at what happens with duplication over a 6-month period. Now, we've gone through the first 3 months, and that first 3 months is a very neat 35 case credits. Or is it that neat? Well, no, it never is that neat. Some are going to do more, some are going to do less, but you need to replicate the simplicity of use and retail 3, and then recruit 1, always more, never less. And what we've got here is some really firm foundations building. Let me just give you an example if you're a manager in the room. You know, if you're a manager in the room, my advice to you is you need to be working with at least 5 good legs all the time. 5 good legs all the time. If you had 5 legs that were all in month 2, that means 5 times 10, that's 50 new case credits in the month. Those 5 legs all then go on to month 3 to do their 20 cases. There's 100 cases of new business through 5 key people, and all you're doing is a 3x2 and duplicating. Duplication is the key. But when you go into the 6-month plan, you will see that month 3 is month 1 of 4 months to manager. So it's 20, 35, 45 and 50. That averages at 37.5. And that means that you have created a nice new manager. And the reason I like the volume to build like this is because when a manager goes manager with 50 cases, they're a strong, strong manager. When they go manager on just that 37.5 times 4, they're still actually only a supervisor assistant manager with volume. So we're looking to have that nice duplicatable business with everybody rinsing and repeating those 5 CCs, sometimes more, but never less. And that's it. That's how you build a business. And if you were coming here today thinking I was going to give you some magic bullet, some new high-fangled idea, something you've never seen before, then you're wrong. Because this has stood the test of time. Not just here in the UK, but all over the world. The simplicity of planning your activity, reviewing it, planning it, doing it and reviewing it consistently every 7 days, and working with your new FBO to give them the knowledge and the confidence they need to do to eventually go and do it without you. And once you've done that, you've mastered our industry, network marketing. Now, I can't make it any simpler than that, because that's all I do. How many of you in the room think that you could learn that? Brilliant. Then I can honestly tell you, I think that we're going to go into a new decade and achieve things that we've never seen before, because remember what I said, I wanted a process that allowed me to be consistent and have clarity. I wanted clarity on what my expectations are, what did I need to do. And once I knew what I needed to do, I just did it, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out. And people say, don't you get bored? And I say no, because everybody I work with brings a new energy. Everybody's different. I get bored with the people that say they're going to do it and never do, but that's their problem, not mine. And I want to give you a little bit of advice here. You know, very often what we do when we recruit is we recruit maybe a couple of people, and one is a superstar and one is a complete just donut. Has anybody ever recruited a donut? They look all there, but there's a bit missing in the middle. And I tell you what we do as FBOs, we go looking for that bit in the middle, because we're going to change them into a diamond. How many of you have done that? And working with the donuts, you ignore the good one because you think they're going to get on with it and be great. Let me give you some advice. Let go of the donut and go give your time to that person who's hungry. Because when you work with a hungry FBO, who's committed, who will give it a go, who will work hard and then review and learn and apply, then you're going to build a business. Oh, if I could turn back the clock and have £1 for every donut I tried to save, I think I would be amazing. Well, more amazing. Sorry, I'm just joking. So, what I want to do is I want to ask someone to come up and just share their journey to manager with you and the simplicity of what she embraced to achieve that position. So will you please give a warm welcome to Hayley, who's going to come and share her story with you.
Hi everyone, so my name's Hayley Stewart. My background's actually in finance, and I've been in my current job for, it was actually 20 years last week. I was introduced to Forever 4.5 years ago when somebody had suggested I start drinking the gorgeous aloe vera drinking gel. Within 6 weeks of drinking that, I'd seen amazing benefits to my health, and I simply joined Forever at that point just to get my discount. So I wasn't looking for a business, I wasn't particularly looking to earn extra money, I just didn't want to pay full price. But as soon as I got my hands on this box, I tried all the products in it and absolutely fell in love with everything. So I naturally built up a customer base just by telling everybody how amazing the products were. And then some of those people joined my team, some disappeared, some carried on. But I still wasn't particularly looking to build that extra income. I was just making a few extra pounds, completely by accident, so that was lovely. However, in January this year, I attended QLS, heard some really, really inspirational stories, including one from a lady called Mildred Damaseki from Zimbabwe. And I listened to how she'd built this incredible business completely against some awful conditions, such adversity that she faced. She had no local training, she didn't have all of this that we have. And I just came away from that and just thought, you know what, she can do it in those conditions. There's absolutely no reason why I can't build an amazing business here. So straight after that, I went to my upline, Natalie Healy, had a planning meeting, and I told her I was going to be manager by June. I then started actually doing the work that we're trained to do, which I hadn't been doing for the past 4 years. So I started talking regularly and consistently to people off my Who Do You Know list. I started tackling my chicken list, so the people who I really hadn't wanted to talk to. And because I didn't believe that there'd be anything in here for them, I thought they already had everything they wanted. Particular one was my next door neighbour who had been buying the products off me, but I had never ever spoken to her about the business. However, when I did, she joined straight away and became supervisor within a month. So it's definitely worth talking to her. I then started doing all the other activities we're supposed to do. So I'd already been doing tabletops and things like that, but I started to make sure I consistently had a minimum of 2 tabletops a month. I was doing my 2 experience packs every week. Obviously talking to everybody, I was going out contact marketing. And I actually reached manager in the May, so a month before I'd predicted, which was fantastic. I was really pleased. Thank you. I was also, another thing that I started doing was running weekly sizzles at my house. There's something I'd not done before, to just encourage my team a bit more, to train them and show them what is actually possible. So now, where am I now? So now I feel a lot more confident about coaching people and mentoring people, because I've done it, I've got there, so I know that it is possible. So I'm helping a lot more people now, so hopefully I'm hoping to get towards Eagle Manager. Last night I was actually attended the management incentive, which was incredible, and in 20 years in my job I don't think I've ever felt as valued and welcome and just rewarded as much as I did last night. It was incredible, and today. That's me. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayley. So it just goes to show what's possible when you decide to decide. And that decide to decide moment needs to happen now, because we're going into a new decade. And a new decade really, really means the chance to reset, reboot, recommit, refocus, re-energize in order to achieve the things that are important to you. But I just want to share a little story with you which really highlights the power of this business. And it's really about Juliana. How many of you know Juliana Bevan? Jules is one of our top FBOs in the UK. Sapphire, I mean, she just achieved everything. And she's probably in another pod, so I want to share this on her behalf. And this kind of makes everything we've talked about today even more real, and even more relevant, and even more important. Juliana joined Forever Living 10 years ago in January, this January coming. So she's been in Forever for 10 years. Within a few months of her joining Forever, her sister invested in a hairdressing salon. £25,000. Juliana invested £199.75. Juliana went to work diligently, and it took her about 12 to 18 months to learn a process, a system, and to be effective at it. She knew that it would take time to learn to be a professional networker. It wouldn't happen overnight. She did it in the nooks and crannies of her existing commitments and around her family. Her sister went to work in her new salon. She worked from 6 in the morning till 9 at night. If she didn't cut hair, she didn't get paid. Jules was beginning to make real headway into her business. She became a manager and then a senior manager, and was making more of an income than she'd ever made in her job. Her sister, meanwhile, was still struggling to keep the doors open. Jules was having to look after her sister's children because her sister couldn't leave the salon, because if she didn't cut hair, she didn't get paid. 9 years on, Jules' sister reluctantly had to close the business. 9 years of her life, and she hadn't moved forward and made any money. In fact, she was £10,000 in debt. Jules, on the other hand, had earned over £3 million in her Forever business, had travelled the world, had built a beautiful barn in the countryside and had given her children, her family, more experiences than anything that anybody else could have done for them. The difference was the choice that those two sisters made. The sadness is that Jules' sister can never get back that 9 years, and she's probably a little bit battered and bruised as a result of it. Fortunately, she has a sister like Jules who's always there to help out. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because we need to make the right decisions for us. But we need to understand the consequence of that decision and then the simplicity of the business. You heard Hayley say that the minute she decided to decide and implement all that she was taught, her business took off. Before that, she was merely playing at it. You see, you can have a paycheck or a playcheck. You decide. But what I will say as we go into the next decade, and we don't get many decades in our lifetime, this is a big thing. We may get 8, if we're lucky we may get 9. We need to make the next decade count. Forever has never been stronger as a company. We are poised now for unbelievable growth for those of you that take the time to learn the process. For those of you that disengage from people who tell you you're mad, you're crazy, it will never work. You've made your choice. Be happy with it. Embrace it. Because the future belongs to those who believe in their goals and dreams. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, but more importantly, I wish you nothing but big success in 2020 and the next decade. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Thank you.